Coming up on today's Airborne, the Department of Transportation's Inspector General says FAA star software is unstable. AirPooler runs afoul of the FAA, and MacDill Air Force Base hurricane hunters to get an overhaul. Welcome to Airborne on Aero-TV. I'm Ashley Hale. It's a government-contracted computer program that doesn't work correctly, is behind schedule, over budget, and the user is not trained properly. But is anyone really surprised? The Department of Transportation Inspector General has issued a memo to the FAA administrator pointing out weaknesses in the standard Terminal Automation Replacement System known as STARS that's being deployed at 11 major airports around the country. The Inspector General for Aviation Audits said in May of 2013 that there were major problems with the system and that cost overruns were likely. This warning was prophetic because STARS was put into use at the Dallas-Fort Worth TradeCon in April of 2013, with the original older system being used as a backup. It's been reported that software requirements remained unstable, and the FAA identified 46 additional requirements to ensure that STARS provides at least the same capabilities as the systems it's replacing. The IG report said if the FAA receives its budget request for fiscal year 2015 for STARS deployment at the 11 TradeCons, the agency will exceed its baseline by $19 million for the first 5 sites. Additionally, it said that the agency did not provide adequate site-specific training when certifying technical specialists at the DFW TradeCon. The concept seems fairly simple. Private pilots would offer extra seats in their airplanes through the AirPooler app and website, and the passengers would help offset some of the expenses of making the trip. AirPooler would calculate the shared cost, bill the passenger, and collect a small transaction fee for offering the service. However, the FAA said that by posting specific flights and costs on its website, AirPooler was helping the pilot advertise a trip, which requires an air carrier certificate. So it seems you can invite your friends to fly with you and share the cost, but posting your travel plans on a website, inviting people you don't know to hop on board and pitch in a posted price for gas and expenses is not going to be allowed. AirPooler's CEO and founder Steve Lewis said he had a meeting set with the FAA later this month, and while he doesn't know if he can move the needle in favor of his business, he notes, "We're certainly going to try." You're watching Airborne. We'll be back after these messages with more news and our feature of the day.
Redbird Flight Simulations is dedicated to revolutionizing flight training by designing, manufacturing, and delivering affordable and innovative flight training technologies. Each Redbird device is designed to enhance the training experience for pilots of all levels, from student to ATP. Redbird is quickly becoming the industry standard for flight training. Since Redbird introduced its revolutionary FMX in 2007, colleges, universities, and flight training operations around the world have integrated Redbird products into their curriculum. It's time to discover what Redbird can do for you. Join the migration.
Welcome back. If you'd like to be a supporter of Airborne, Aero-TV, our website, or our podcast, drop an email to jim@aero-news.net. 2 Lockheed Orion P-3 airplanes based at MacDill Air Force Base in Tampa, Florida, are the backbone of the hurricane hunters, and they're about to go in for a $35 million makeover. According to NOAA's MacDill Chief of Operations, Jim Patton, the 2 planes, nicknamed Miss Piggy and Kermit, will be overhauled over the next 3 years. The work will include new wings, refurbished engines, and upgraded radar and avionics. Each of the airframes has over 10,000 hours, according to Patton. Miss Piggy has flown into 83 hurricanes while working for NOAA, and Kermit has flown into 98 storms. The planes were acquired by NOAA in 1976 and 1975, respectively. Patton said, quote, "My goal is to keep these planes flying for another 15 to 20 years, end quote. Work on Kermit is set to begin in March of next year, while Miss Piggy will go into the shop in 2016. With some 2,000 Aero-TV programs webcast to cyberspace, Sometimes it's fun to look back and enjoy some of the places we've seen, the flyers we've met, and the planes we've flown. Here's a look at one of our favorite Aero-TV classic episodes.
There is a formula that we can not only reduce the cost, but reduce the frustration in learning how to fly or getting additional ratings and certificates, and that's what we're here to do.
With the failing business model of traditional flight training, there has to be a better way to do it, and Skyport is showing us an innovative solution. Search Reshaping Flight Training Skyport on Aero-TV's news channel. A new Civil Air Patrol National Commander and CEO was sworn in last Friday at the organization's 2014 National Conference. And we at ANN welcome Major General Joe Vazquez of Henrico, Virginia, to this important position. As CAP's 23rd National Commander, Vazquez will lead 60,000 volunteers across the nation in fulfilling the organization's 3 congressionally chartered missions, which are emergency services, cadet programs, and aerospace education. Vazquez joined CAP as a Georgia Wing cadet in 1975. A CAP command pilot with more than 3,500 flying hours, Vazquez is a single and multi-engine commercial pilot and also a commercially rated glider instructor pilot. Airborne is brought to you by some of the best sponsors in the aviation business. We'll be right back with more news.
ADS-B will be mandatory for most aircraft by 2020 in the United States, but you can benefit from ADS-B today with the Bendix King KT-74 Mode S transponder. The KT-74 meets the global mandates for ADS-B out when attached to a suitable WAAS GPS. Over the past 2 decades, no resource has compiled as much expert-valued information about the sport plane world than the Sport Plane Resource Guide. Over 1,500 pages, hundreds of aircraft, dozens of how-tos and directories. All this and more will be coming to the sport aviation world soon with the new, all-electronic and updatable Sport Plane Resource Guide for your iPad, iPhone, Kindle, tablet, PC, or other electronic devices. Get your order in now. www.sportplane.com.
Welcome back. Eclipse Aerospace announced Friday that they were laying off several people in light of lower than projected sales numbers for the very light jet. Tom Patton reports.
Eclipse Aerospace Senior Vice President Ed Lundeen said the move was due to a market recovery that is not as robust as had been expected by the company. He told Albuquerque Business First, quote, "We're not seeing the sales we planned for." Lundeen did not say how many employees would be idled. There were about 220 on the payroll before the layoffs were announced. The move comes less than a year after the state of New Mexico poured $397,000 in economic incentives into Eclipse, with the city of Albuquerque adding $238,000, with the expectation the company would add 100 new jobs. It's not known whether any of that will have to be repaid. For Airborne, I'm Tom Patton.
The Lee Bottom Fly-In, one of our favorite events, will once again welcome visitors September 17th through the 19th at the beautiful grass airfield on the banks of the Ohio River in southern Indiana. Lee Bottom owner and operator Rich Davidson writes on his blog that the wood fabric and tailwheels event, which was first held in the mid-90s, is back by popular demand, despite several years of questionable weather, a tornado, and family considerations. Davidson wrote, quote, "I just couldn't see not having it again, but I had to figure out if it could be done with minimum expense and fluff, and still be a quality event. So that's what we're doing. We're trimming expenses and fluff," end quote. Davidson says he knows that some events that miss even a single year are often unable to regain their momentum, but he's heard so many words of encouragement, he decided to give it another go. And we're sure glad he did. Well, that's our program. Remember to get comprehensive, real-time, 24/7 coverage of the latest aviation and aerospace stories anytime at aero-news.net. Remember, Airborne is streamed 3 times a week and is always online. Join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for a new edition. I'm Ashley Hale. Thanks for watching.